Welcome to Biz Buzz with Bruno, presented by Mads Theater. I'm Michael Bruno, your host, and today we have two lovely and talented actors from Capital City Theater who are in the current production of Tick, Tick, Boom. Please help me welcome Gina Bormet. See, I got it right, didn't I? And Andrew Linden. Thanks for coming today.
Hey, thank you.
So first of all, let's start with Gina. Give us a little background about who you are, where you've been, and how you got involved with this production.
Yes, so I've always been into musical theater, and so I started with Capital City Theater, I think the summer of my sophomore year, and I took their Find Their Light program, which is amazing. I did that twice. I did the intermediate and advanced, and that was kind of my introduction to Capital City Theater. I've seen their shows. I've seen Great Comet, which was amazing, which Andrew was in. And then, I've kind of stuck with musical theater. I go to school for it at the Institute of the Arts, Barcelona, which is great.
Wow.
Love it there. And then I was a part of their production of Merrily We Roll Along
which
2
was
summers
wonderful.
ago. Thank you. That was so fun. And then now I'm here for Tick, Tick, Boom. And it's great.
So were you doing musicals before you did the conservatory? Were you doing like high school or grade school? Were you always involved in theater?
Yes. Yeah, I think I did my first musical as a little summer program in the summer of my 6th grade. And so since then it's kind of grown from there. But yeah.
And is that something you want to pursue, like professionally, possibly?
Yes, hopefully. Yes, but hopefully people cast me. So
Absolutely. And so now it's your turn, sir. Give us a little bit about your prehistory.
Sure. Yeah, I moved here to Madison about 3 years ago after I graduated college. I'm from North Carolina, so I went to UNC Chapel Hill, and I moved here and just kind of was doing my own thing for a little bit, and then I really stumbled on auditions for Great Comet, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. It's the full title. And I ended up getting in, and that was my first time working with Capital City Theater. I kind of had like the backwards approach. Like I started working with them professionally and then kind of went back and wanted to continue my training since I wasn't in school anymore. So I did their adult Find Your Light program, which was really fun. And then last summer I did their proper Find Your Light program, which even though I was significantly older than the average age, still was a great experience. It was really fun. Great like learning opportunity and a great way to like keep stay engaged, even while I wasn't necessarily in a show. And then, so I did Great Comet. I got to do the stage reading of It's a Wonderful Life this past winter. And then I got into Tick, Tick, Boom, and it's been really fun.
So tell me a little bit more about Tick, Tick, Boom. What role do you play? And tell me a little bit about the backstory.
Yeah, sure. So I played John, which is Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent. This is his semi-autobiographical musical that he wrote and originally did as like a one-man show for a little bit. After he passed away in 96, a few years later, people kind of took this one-man show and expanded it into a multi-actor, multi-character production with a full script using his score of his original songs. And so that is the show that we're putting on. So John in the show is based heavily on the creator, Jonathan Larson.
And Gina, who do you play in the show?
I play Caressa, which I'm actually not sure if she was a character like in his life. I feel like maybe she wasn't. I feel like she's more...
I think she feels more like a composite character of a few people in his life.
Yeah.
Because I know like none of the names other than John are kind of like real people. They're kind of exaggerations of people in his life.
Yeah, but she's part of the workshop he's doing in the show. He's creating this musical called Superbia, and so there's a little moment where we're in the workshop, and so that's really where she comes out a lot. But yeah, she's just kind of another person in John's life showing like outside influences as he's trying to figure out where he wants to go with his life and what he really wants to be doing.
And talk to me a little bit about the music in the show.
Yes. So a lot of people say you can like hear Rent in it, and I agree with that. It was written about 5 years before Rent came out, so it's cool because you can see how he was kind of finding himself, like as he was writing this musical about finding himself, and it's really cool, and I love the music in it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, very rock inspired, rock adjacent, but that like kind of coming out of the 80s, like pre-grunge or like kind of in the middle of grunge without getting full like, it's still musical theater, but there's like a lot of rock, hard rock, bit of folkiness, and then just like some like kind of soaring rock ballads in it.
Yeah.
Very piano driven rock is probably where I'd put it. Whereas Ren is more like guitar driven, I think. Piano, because Jonathan plays like piano in the show, and like when he was doing it live, he was the pianist. It comes from a piano branching out,
Have you ever done a production of Rent?
I haven't. No, I'd love to.
I was going to say, is it on your bucket list?
Yeah, no, that's a show. It's one of those fun shows where I kind of don't love the characters in Rent. Like, I don't love the people in Rent, but I want to do it so bad because I love the music, and I think it's one of those like cultural touchstones that you really want to like be a part of,
And you were in 1812. You were in Merrily, right? So tell me a little bit more about your experience with Merrily.
Yes, that was my first Capital City Theater show that I ever did. It was a really great experience. Our director was Kit Lavoie, which is great. He produced the documentary about the casting of Merrily called The Best Worst Thing That Ever Could Have Happened. And so that was really great because he really knew the show just extremely well. Like the depth that he talked to us about the characters was honestly incredible. I played Meg, if anyone knows the show, which I love.
No, there aren't any musical theater fans that watch this show. No, they.
If you're out there. And so that was great because even relatively she kind of shows up and then you don't really see her for the rest, but even the conversations he would have with me about her and like the smallest little portion of a line she would say, like the meaning he could find in that was just crazy. And so it was a really great first show to do with Capital City, and I did it with a ton of friends, so it was really great.
And it's always fascinated me that it was such a flop when it first came out.
I mean,
it was just completely dismissed out of hand. That it was like no one couldn't say what was going on because the timeline was reversed, and they all had their little name tag things on. It was like just so people were expecting Sondheim's next biggest, greatest thing. And it just kind of failed miserably. And now, fast forward, and now it's
finally
now it's getting all the attention and all the praise that it really deserves in the first place.
I think the world wasn't ready for it.
They weren't, because I love it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that I don't understand because I love the music in that show. It's probably because I did it, but I love the music in that show. I don't know how it flopped. I'm so glad it won Best Revival because, man, it deserved it.
Well, it's kind of like Tick, Tick, Boom. People didn't know about Tick, Tick, Boom. I mean, everybody knew Rent because Rent was this mega hit of that every, community theater and every high school and everybody was trying to do it for years. And you never really heard about Tick, Tick, Boom. And then when the little film came out, people went, oh, this is something kind of cool. This is fun and it's interesting. And it's, it gives more an insight to who he was.
It's interesting because the movie, for anyone who's like coming to see the show who has like seen the movie, it's a bit different. I'd say the movie is more of a biopic about Jonathan Larson, confined to that specific period in his life, but really explores like his feelings leading up to it and like his writing process. The show Tick, Tick, Boom, the stage show, is only 90 minutes, no intermission, very like snappy, like one scene to the next, one scene to the next. The movie gets a little bit more breathing time. It's, like 2 hours long, and you get to really kind of settle in to like him as like, a character. And Andrew Garfield's performance really, like, you can tell he was being John, which is like, I think the movie is a fantastic adaptation of this story. And I think the stage show also is like a fantastic adaptation of his one-man show, and his one-man show is a fantastic like adaptation of his feelings in his real life. It's like, it's so meta. It's great.
A little bit, I'm going to go backwards in time to a great comment of 1812. What was it like having to build everything and be in that space in that barn? Because I was blown away by just the amount of energy and the amount of stuff that you had to do to be in that space at that time. Yeah.
So for reference, it was we did the Great Comet of 1812 in a barn in Fitchburg, the Four Winds Farm, which was a fantastic venue, and it was very intimate, very much in the round. The actors were sitting less than a foot away from, or the audience was sitting less than a foot away from the actors. We were running all in and out. And it was, you'd think it would get kind of claustrophobic, but it wasn't. It was like, it was really intimate in the best way, because you really felt every breath of the show, whether you were like in it or seeing it. There's a lot of moments in the show, because I played a fairly minor character in the show, which allowed me to kind of like get to witness a lot of what was happening. And it was a really cool way. Like, I felt like I was part of the audience in parts, and like you could feel the energy in that room so much, because it was so just close quarters and like tight, and like everyone was like, and people, it was so fun. It's just a fun, upbeat show.
Yeah.
Even though it's dark and like, and insane at points, but it's fun, and people really liked it, and I loved it.
It was, having, seen it and been in the audience and experienced it myself, we were astonished. Because it's like, when you do environmental theater like that, it can either go really, 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 really well, or it can be really, 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 really awful.
Yes.
And like take Cabaret now. It's like, so put Cabaret in the Kit Kat Club.
Exactly.
So if the audience goes to the Kit Kat Club, it's like, okay, so you really change the original concept of just being a musical on a stage, and everything is done beyond the wall, to make it like you're in the environment. You're sitting at tables with the Kit Kat girls and with the orchestra. Everybody's all surrounding, which that really was. I mean, you were sitting at tables, and somebody next to you may be playing the accordion, and then jumps up and starts singing. And it was a really kind of ahead of its time, because now that seems to be the popular thing again.
And I'm such a sucker for that type of show. I got to see that revival of Sweeney Todd before the Broadway revival. That was off-Broadway, where they turned it into a pie shop, and then they performed it in the pie shop. It was like a transfer from a London production that did it on like Fleet Street or something. I don't quote me on that. I might be making up all of these details, but it was essentially like a minuscule cast of people playing all of the ensemble and characters in Sweeney Todd done in a pie shop. And so like stuff like that, where you're really getting like in the zone. I think it's great for the actors, because you can really feel the stage becomes its own character. It becomes that environment, and the audience gets to be fully immersed, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I first came back from the West Coast, I looked around Madison, and I thought, nobody's really doing, immersive theater.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I've seen Tony and Tina's Wedding a million times. And I thought, well, okay, it's Tony and Tina's Wedding. It's two Italian families, blah, 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 blah. So a group of us got together that I had known previously when I was on the West Coast, and thought, well, let's change it up a bit, and let's make a Jewish family and an Italian family, and watch the War of the Worlds happening while the audience is invited to come to their wedding. So it was that environmental theater, and we had the buffet, and we had the cake,
That's really cool.
Yeah,
all this stuff
amazing.
that's happening around it. And it was like, I really enjoyed, presenting that and being in it, to watch the people in the audience either coming, and their wives are dragging their husbands in, and they're like, oh God, we're gonna have to go see dinner theater. Well, the food better be good. We're gonna have another cocktail. Give me another brandy old fashioned, honey. And then all of a sudden, the ex-wife with a stripper comes in, and they're all like, ooh, this could be a fun show.
Now I'm on board.
Yeah, so that's. I also have an affinity for that, and it's not everybody's piece of cake. They don't want to go and they think, oh no, you're not going to drag me up on stage.
Right.
Like, no. If you don't want to, the cast knows to leave you alone. Just let them enjoy the show,
right?
And let the other people who want to do the chicken dance and people that want to do the things, let them come up and have a great time. And I think that was the nice thing about that too, is that if you just wanted to participate, just watch the show, you could do that.
Yes.
And that was and in that space too. I always just think of that space and just being such an amazing venue, and to turn it into a theater, because it wasn't a theater, it was like made to be a wedding venue.
Right.
And yet the sound was amazing, the cast was amazing. You could hear every single thing. It was really probably one of my top 5 shows that I've seen in Madison. Very cool. So what's next for you? Do you know? Is anything on your
for
next?
me,
Yes.
I think I can say this. Okay, yeah. So
Nobody's listening. It's just us.
so I referenced the stage reading of It's a Wonderful Life, so we did that last December. And it was written, the music was written by our very own Andrew Abrams, who is one of the directors and the music director of Tick, Tick, Boom, and, an artistic director of Capital City Theater. And we're doing a full production of it in November, also at the Mitby Theater on MATC's campus, and I'm going to be in that as well. So went from the workshop stage to the fully staged stage, which is great.
Excellent. Gina?
Yes, so I'm going into my last year of university. So, yeah, just kind of focusing on getting through that, and then we'll see where I go from there.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure that you will have fabulous careers ahead of you because, according to me, you are just children. But you're very talented children. You're very talented young adults. Young adults.
Young adults.
Next generation. So we're going to take a short little break, and we'll be right back with the lovely, I can't measure. Gail Becker will be here to talk more about Capital City Theater. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. What a great couple of
I know.
thespians.
Aren't they
oh
fabulous?
My gosh, they're just amazing.
They are great. We're so lucky to have these groups of young adults that take our courses and want to get their feet wet in doing some professional theater, and it's exactly what the conservatory program and the conservatory production is about. We hire all these professional designers and directors and other stage crew and things like that, and then the actors of the show, it started out as the actors of the show were all of the kids that were our alumni. I call them kids, but they're also young adults. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that just means that I'm old. So that's why they're kids. So we get them to be in the show, and if they've taken one of our courses, or if they've taken Find Your Light or any of the other courses that we take, that we offer, they are eligible to audition. That's kind of how it all started, and they're fantastic, and they are so talented, and it's a great stepping stone for them to be immersed in the sort of rigors of what a professional musical theater looks like. We rehearse for 3 weeks for 8 hours a day and have 1 day off. We have a tech week that is, just 4 days, and then you're into 3 days, and then you're into dress rehearsals, and then and then we jump in like that. So they get a little bit of that idea of how this all sort of gets put together. I mean, they've all have done, obviously they've done so many other shows, and obviously, like you said, Andrew talked about how he started in Great Comet, and then I really want to take some more of your programs and just get my feet wet that way. So it's just more opportunities for these kids to perform, which is great. I love it.
And talk to me a little bit more about Find Your Light.
Okay, so Find Your Light started with Andy and I teaching back in 2013, I believe, or maybe 12. Gosh, I'm sorry. It's so long ago.
Time flies.
Right, exactly. Pre-COVID. No. And it started out as a 2-week course. It was a full day sort of intensive. We would work on all sorts of lectures about musical theater, and then we worked on solos and duets and group numbers and brought in choreographers and everything. And then throughout the years, it grew and grew and morphed into a couple different types of programs. We had one that was 2 weeks. We had one that was 1 week for beginners, and they're all high school and above. So we focus on the kids that are bridging the gap between high school and getting into college or moving on that way. And then we did a 3-week Find Your Light for a couple years that had all the things that we did with our other one, but we added a dance intensive. So that 3 days a week, they would have a 2-hour dance intensive with a local professional choreographer. And they would either have a ballet session, or they would do musical theater styles, or they would do learning combinations and executing them in a short amount of time, like you would for an audition. And so that was sort of the dance portion. And then we brought in someone to talk about monologues, and we brought in someone to talk about headshots. We brought in another person to talk about vocal health, and we brought in another person to talk about mental health. So that was what Find Your Light turned into, and it still is. But now, let me move on to exactly what we're doing this year. This year, we began actually a brand new program called Level Up. And Level Up is actually our college prep program, because that's something that Andy and I are really excited about offering our students and coaching them on. And so now we have a 2-week program where kids are able to come in and they spend a 2-week full immersive and intensive full day program learning about the rigors of getting through and preparing for the college audition season. So learning what songs to do, learning how to navigate choosing a school, how to navigate the mental health aspects of it all. What do we tell your parents that have no idea what all this is about? And then we bring in all these heads of departments from other colleges around the area. This previous year, we're just finishing up, was our first year of Level Up. And we had Caitlin Hopkins, who was the head of Texas State, and she came in. And we had Lara Teeter, who is the head of Webster University, and he came in and taught. We had Aaron Todd Douglas, who is one of the professors at Guthrie School, Minnesota Guthrie program. He came in and taught. So we have all these unbelievable guests to come in and really get these kids excited. And actually they have a mock audition. They have a mock musical audition. They have a mock dance audition. We had, this amazing dancer from Texas State as well, Julio Cantano Yee, that came in. He was amazing. And the best part is now, which we didn't do in the past, we can offer housing.
Oh.
So we are able to really reach out to other states and other areas of the country and invite these students to audition and come to this program, which is a little bit more affordable than maybe, say, some of the other programs up in New York or in Florida or something, and just be a little bit more competitive that way. And then they have housing, and they're able to be housed at Edgewood College.
Nice.
So that was a fantastic, what we were able to do this year. We had kids from Florida. We had a kid from Houston, Texas. We had a kid from Austin, Texas. We had a kid from up in Appleton who came down and stayed the 2 weeks with us. It was great. It was fantastic. So not only do we have Level Up, but we still have the Find Your Light program that happens throughout the year as well. So any student that was taking these programs eligible to audition for the conservatory show.
So now, are these all the colleges that they're prepping for, are these colleges that you have to audition to get into?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 probably really decent musical theater programs out there where you don't have to audition. And those are great. Those are fantastic schools to consider. But otherwise, when you're looking at musical theater programs at colleges, it is audition for sure. And it's not, I mean, God, Michael, when I auditioned for school, I went to Miami University in Ohio, which I loved, and I had a wonderful time and a beautiful, fantastic program. And I can't say no to get into that program.
Of course you did.
And I probably coached with my choir teacher twice to get ready for that. Long gone are those days, and I would never have probably gotten into school today if that was my, a way of getting in there. So it's way more competitive. The kids have to have certain types of music. They actually have pre-screens now. So now they have to send in an audition tape. And if they make it past that, it's like a callback. And then they actually get to go into the school, or they go to a big program called Unifieds throughout the country and audition for the schools again to see if they get in. And there are thousands of students going into these programs. I mean, Michigan has probably 4,000 students that send in a pre-screen, and I think they choose probably close to 200 to see live, and then they take probably 16 in their program total.
Whoa.
For the year.
I had no idea
Really?
it was that competitive
the
now.
odds are super competitive. And so that's why Andy and I are really passionate about making sure that we're offering at least the tools that these students need to be competitive and to be, and to get into their schools of dreams. Like Gina going to Barcelona, for gosh sakes. I mean, it's a fantastic program and so exciting. And when she was like, should I go to Barcelona or should I go to this other school that I got into? And I was like, girl, go to Europe. What are you talking about? Yeah. So these, just gives them more opportunities and more places to go and explore and grow. Exciting.
That's so cool. And back in the day, it's like you paid your tuition, you took the classes.
Yeah, I filled out. I typed out on my typewriter my application and my essay that took me like 10 minutes to write because it was that big. Yeah. It's so different these days. So different. And I'm actually really glad I don't have to audition for schools right now.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't want to go through
but
that.
How encouraging.
But I'm happy to help others.
How encouraging is to know that there's that many kids that are invested in even taking that first step,
right,
to going through all that, knowing that there's all these callbacks, and it's like going to a cattle call for a Broadway show.
It's crazy competitive, and it's real exciting though when the kids get excited about it themselves, because then they're putting themselves, their authentic self, in front of these educators and these heads of department, and that's what they want. They want authenticity. They want genuine. They just want you to be you. And the fact that they can get comfortable and confident with that, that's all we ask. That's the gift, to make sure they do that.
Then do you have auditions for those, or can people just come in and apply to be in your programs?
In the summer programs?
Yep.
We have auditions, so they send in more pre-screen, more videotaped audition material, and they send it to us, and Andy and I review them, and we're able to, sort of track to make sure. And it's not really to say, oh, are you good enough to be in this program? That's not really what we're looking for, but we're just looking to make sure that they have some of the skill sets where they can bring those skill sets and be successful, and not have somebody come in who might be over their head, because then that just discourages them. Right. That just makes them unhappy, and they don't feel fulfilled. They feel maybe it was a waste of their time or money, because maybe the way we're teaching the program is a little bit more accelerated than they're ready for. So that's really why we have the audition, is to make sure that they're going to be a great fit and they're going to get as much out of it as we can give them.
That's so cool, because a lot of times you're right. You think, okay, this is going to be a great thing for me.
Right.
And then you get there and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I've had that happen. I'm like, I am out of my league.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm having imposter syndrome.
I don't know. I don't tap that well. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, but the talent that comes through your doors is really outstanding.
Thank you.
It's,
we're really lucky.
The shows are high quality. The kids are high quality. The adults are high quality.
Thanks.
It really is. I mean, we're, like I say to every company that's come through our show, it's just amazing that Madison has these things available
Right.
to people.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of places in cities our size, you have to go to Chicago. You have to go to Minneapolis.
Well,
you have to go to bigger cities.
We knew that would make this. Let's do what we can to make that really happen. And so we're excited because we have not only a bunch of local amazing talent as well, but we're able to bring in some talent from all over the country, like San Francisco and Oregon, and we had people from Texas and Milwaukee, and like that's like we have everybody coming into a destination area for that this regional theater to thrive. So that's it's exciting to house them, and then when they come and they have a great experience, and then they want to come back and they tell other people, and then we just had a big huge thing for all of our season auditions, and we got lots and lots and lots of submissions from all over the country. I mean, you mentioned Great Comet a little earlier in the podcast, and we had. I'm not kidding. I think we had over 500 submissions. I'm
seriously?
Not exaggerating. We had over 500 video submissions for that show because we were also the regional premiere for it.
Oh, that's right.
So it was people who had known about the show, who were excited about the show, were like, oh my gosh, I have to submit. So that was really exciting. And then when we had the show in the barn, we had people from California that flew in to see that show because they had heard about it. We had people drive up from Florida, wanted to see that show. We were very humbled. It was very exciting to have that response and that those many people wanted to come in and take part of that, because it really was an experience.
It truly was. I mean, and, like I said, like I told them before, it's like it's one of my top 5 things that I've ever seen in this whole area. It's like it was just one of those amazing things where it's like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to take this?
And post-COVID, we were all battling everything to get it done.
I know.
But we said, hell or high water, we're gonna make it happen, and we're gonna put everything we can into it, and we're really glad we did it. It easily probably took some years off of Andy and I's life. That's okay. Yeah. It's a labor of love, right? You do that. You do it. But we look back at it now and we go, incredible. Yeah.
So Andrew teased us with a little bit about the next production that he's going to be involved with, which was the Miracle on. No, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Wrong show.
Yeah, right.
Wrong show. It's a Wonderful Life.
We're not writing that one.
So what is the next season?
Okay, so our season just came out, and our next season begins with It's a Wonderful Life in the fall, and we call it the fall because we're actually opening the week before Thanksgiving. So we're kicking off the holiday season with that, and that way also we can kind of stay out of the way of some of those other amazing things that are happening during the holiday that are really time and true and steadfast to Madison. We didn't want to try and throw our hat into that pool because we know we want to be able to offer something for everybody and let them be able to decide all sorts of things that they can see all season long. After that, we do a real cute small 2-person show called Murder for Two. And that's actually going to take place at our core. We call it the core, which is Capital City Theater's. It's the conservatory office and rehearsal and event space. And so we are actually going to do it there. We're going to have it a little bit more immersive with tables and chairs and the set around the people. And then finally in the summer, so we're talking about this conservatory production, right? We are, as Capital City Theater is growing, so are the opportunities for our students. So the conservatory program and the production is evolving to be a little bit more of an impact show for Capital City Theater and our students. And we're going to start now using our interns and immersing them into our main stage productions. So in this slot next year, we'll be doing Assassins, Stephen Sondheim's Assassins.
Oh my God.
And we're doing it as a stage concert reading, so we can really enjoy the music and the text and have a little bit more of those nuances on stage. And we are inviting we've cast some of our interns that are conservatory alumni, and some of them are going to be in the cast. There'll still be regular cast members, but this is just another way to immerse them and have them work side by side with other professionals and be sort of mentored in that way. I think it's a natural, the next step of what usually happens when you are getting a little older and want to be involved in this crazy career. So that's what we're going to be doing now with the conservatory students is start using them into our main stage productions and hiring them that way.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you have tonight. You have a show.
Yep.
And do you have one tomorrow as well? Do you have a matinee Sunday?
We do have a matinee. Wait, I got to go back to It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, sorry.
Because I just realized some of the big things I didn't talk about that.
Oh,
is
okay.
that it's a brand new musical.
Right.
It is written, the score is written by Andrew Abrams, which also, he just finished doing Shining Misery last year for the World Premiere
Which was
Wisconsin.
so good.
We had
and
so
you
much
were
fun.
so hysterical.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I am lucky, very lucky, and honored to be that that character and start that show. And we just did a read through of it at 54 Below, which was outstanding. It was so much fun. But anyhow, so he's got another one, which is going to be just as good. It's got beautiful, 20 or 21 member cast with a huge orchestra. It is going to be in the Mitby. It is going to envelop the entire stage of the beautiful Mitby Theater. And it's just going to be, super exciting.
And you did it as a workship a couple months ago, right?
We did it. We did it back in, January? Was it? No, I guess it was December. Oh my God, I can't remember. I know, I'm losing it. I need some Prevagen. Back in, December of last year, and we did the whole reading, and there's been some tweaks, and there's been a couple changes, but it was ready to sort of get its final version, and it is ready to be produced, and we're going to try and knock the socks off of it, and hopefully be something that we produce every year as our sort of holiday offering.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to backtrack. So when you were at 54 Below, I understand you had somebody rather important in the musical theater world that came to see the show.
And totally ties into all the things we were talking about. Because, yes, we did. We had two very, very special guests. Of course, everybody who showed up, all my college kids, if you're watching this, all my college buddies, they all came. I couldn't believe it. So they were special guests. But anyhow, our other two special guests were Lin-Manuel Miranda. I can't say it too sad because it trips up the tongue.
It does.
It's so exciting.
Because you want to say Carmen Miranda.
And then we also had Dave Malloy, who wrote Great Comet, in the audience as well. So we had both of them there, and they both apparently, I didn't get a chance to chat with them, but I did. But I know Andy took a picture with them, and they sort of chatted, and they really enjoyed it a lot and had a good time. And then when I talked to some of my college friends who had come to the show, they had no idea they were even there. I go, did you know that Lin-Manuel was like literally sitting in a booth like behind you? And they're like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So that was very fabulous. So I guess to say that he got to hear me sing, that's a pretty bucket list thing. That's
a big bucket list thing. Come on. That's a really big one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And 54 Below is such a great venue, too.
Yeah,
amazing people.
I'd never
that have
been there, and
there.
I had never sung there, and so but I have so many friends that have, and so just to have that in my wheelhouse now is super cool. I'm lucky. I'm just lucky. I got lucky.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a really good thing. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy to reconnect with you. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
I feel like I should ask you about your show.
Oh, it's right there.
I know. Look how beautiful the poster is.
It's
right?
Patience. Yeah, we're running tonight, and then tomorrow we have a matinee.
Okay.
And then we are done. We had 2 wonderful weekends at the Bartell, and I look forward to into stepping into next summer's production.
Right? I know. So, we're back in the summer. Yeah, so we got show tonight and show tomorrow as well. And that's it. So just 2 more to go for this conservatory production, and then we evolve and we offer even more. So
cool.
That which is exciting. And then our cabaret.
Oh,
we do that.
Exactly.
We still have our cabaret soiree going on. So we have, a couple nights here and there at the Baroque.
At the Baroque, and another great venue.
Yeah, right. And we're bringing in unbelievable cabaret artists from all over the country.
Cool.
I mean, Ife Butler is closing us out next May. So
very nice, exciting,
a lot of things.
Cool.
We're spinning plates, Michael.
Yeah, baby.
We're doing it.
Wonderful. Gail, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Give my love to the cast, give my love to Andy,
I will.
And continued successes. And I'm sure that we will be covering many of the other things happening.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you do and all you bring, and the audiences you find, and keeping us all going here.
Well, that's our mission.
I love it.
That's our mission with Mads Theater and with Benjamin Franklin. Leland. I couldn't remember Leland.
I was like, are you giving out Benjamin
Franklin, Grant, Jefferson, McKinley, Kennedy, Barlow.
All of them. All the money.
That's right. All the money. And thank my wonderful husband for the beautiful sets in here.
And
thank you, Gail, again. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
All right.